Hey, y'all. It's another episode of the Sports Freak Podcast.
Hey.
The usual suspects in the building. Myself, Matt. You got Miss Regina. Say what's up, Regina.
Hey, y'all. It's Gina from She Talks Football. What's up? So glad to be here again today.
We got my boy Ennis representing the Miami Dolphins.
Fins up. Fins up. What up? What's good on this day?
Fins up. And we if you've been watching us since the first episode, we're missing two of our comrades. They got some personal issues they dealing with, and Javon, you definitely in our prayers, brother.
Yep.
Definitely in our prayers. We said a prayer before we came on air for you.
Yep.
And you know, prayers to everyone out there that we don't know that's going through stuff, because there's a lot of people going through things right now, and with this COVID thing going on, and
Yeah.
just in life in general. So we, our prayers and hearts are with you. If you're struggling with something, hopefully this episode of the Sports Freak Podcast will bring you some joy and satisfaction.
Amen.
With that being said, today's topics, we're going to start off with the coaching carousel. So it's a lot of we just passed a Black Monday this past Monday, and a lot of coaches have bit the dust. So
yeah, it was dark and dreary.
it was dark and dreary.
Been chopped like chop suey.
Like Chop Suey, Mr. Ennis, he knows all too well.
Yeah,
I know. He's an expert on Black Monday. If you're a Dolphins fan, you've had a few Black Mondays in your days. So we're going to start right there, y'all. We're going to start with the coaching carousel, the firings, the potential hirings, and how it's changing the landscape around the NFL. So Ennis, we're going to start off with you, brother. You're the expert in this situation. We still have our head coach for now. But we're gonna let you start off because Brian Flores was fired surprisingly around the league circles. A lot of people were like really taken back and shocked that he was let go after going on a 7-game winning streak and nearly making it to the playoffs. So what's going on? I know you got your ears to the streets down there in Miami and what's going on with the Dolphins. So tell us what's going on with Flores and where you guys looking to go from there.
Okay, so last episode I was telling you about little rumblings that I was hearing that was happening after the game between players and coach, and it got a little deeper. You know what I'm saying? So since the Tennessee game, we come to find out that Tua and Flo had a spat in the locker room. Because I don't know, Prince fans is watching. No, during the game, we seen Flo snapping on the sideline on Boyer, Tua, and then we heard about the locker room incident. But what had came out after the Patriot game, that in the tunnel, Ross was in the tunnel, our owner, and he, I guess, had some words with Ross. I think it was that game or the Pat game, but somewhere we're still trying to find out which game. I talked to somebody yesterday, said it was that they somebody they know, close source that I trust, this person said somebody he know was in the hallway and heard Ross tell the owner, "You don't know how to win. I know how to win."
Wow.
Because he from the Patriot and he know how to win. But my thing is, Bill won that. You was just on the staff, so you can't take full credit for saying you a winner for being on someone's staff. You get what I'm saying? So for you to have your chest out to our owner and bucking him like he's just nobody, yeah. So, but the reason why he got fired, that was just icing on the coffin. But we're hearing that Flo would chastise players when they did wrong, but when they did good, he just walked right past them. It was no good job on that block, good running that route, giving players encouragement when he saw them do good. It was like, oh, you were supposed to do that. I shouldn't have to tell you. But you jumped down their throat when they made a mistake. You see what I'm saying? So
that's a very good point.
People keep focusing on his record and his coaching like he's not a good coach. Nobody's saying he can't coach players or whatever, but you got to be a man, a leader of people and communicator and relationship builder. Have people saying that, seeing the defense tweet that, oh, he was a good coach, but you don't see none of the offense players coming to bat for him. Why is that? Because he showed more favor to the defensive players because he was a defensive coach. Then go ahead.
Ennis, let me chime in right there because we be on the Twitter Spaces and we be talking to chopping it up with other fans and stuff, and that's the biggest thing. It's like when fans say they want change in the coach, and they always look at defensive, offensive coordinators. What they don't realize is sometimes that person may only have a specialty on that side of the ball, and they might not even know how to even communicate with the offensive side of the ball. That's why you have like career coordinators, right? Because those are people who are self-aware and know that, hey, I'm really good at just coaching defense, so I'm gonna just stick to that, And we've seen some coaches dip their toe and try to be a head coach. It doesn't work, and then they go back to being a coordinator. They go back to their bread and butter and the thing that worked for them. So that's why I think it's important people be careful when you ask for a coach that I want an offensive genius or a defensive genius. Be careful because he has to also, if he's the head coach, he has to also be able to coach the entire team or communicate with the entire team. So that's a good point.
You're right, but this is where I want you to, Regina, like people overlook what we learned because y'all have y'all coach, so y'all haven't had to deal with this. But think about this. He's been in all the Bill Belichick coaches failed because they only seen that one system. They only seen that one way of life. So when you go somewhere and you try to implement Bill's system, that man has a resume to where he got to the point where he can coach like that and walk around and act the way he does. So you can't imitate somebody that and you don't have the resume that they have, bro. He's trying to get Bill Belichick status in our organization off of 2-3 seasons. You haven't won nothing. You haven't even took us to a playoffs yet for you to be telling the owner, I'm a winner. Y'all don't know how to win. Who's y'all? I thought you're our coach. How you saying y'all? You see what I'm saying? Like, so this is why like people were so shocked because I told our fan base, bro, you go to a job, you work at a job, you disrespect your boss on the last shift you work. You think you're gonna go to work the next morning? That's why he was fired first thing in the morning because he did something to the owner. The owner was like, oh no. The owner's hands off. He's in New York. He flies down for the game. But for him to have that press conference without the general manager told me that he was fed up. He was done. Like he's already hearing that you almost had a fight with your offensive coordinator. The general manager had to break them up. You see what I'm saying? Like it was just events that we're hearing that was going on that, they're not going to say during the season, but with the Watson rumors and you not handling in that and how you address the team, people keep talking about his coaching. It wasn't the coaches, it was the relationship that you was having inside the organization. Wow. Like that's what they tweeted out when he got fired. It felt like a weight was lifted off the organization because you walking around not even acknowledging players in the hallway if they not guys that you drafted or guys that you handpicked. You see what I'm saying? Like Christian Wilkins, Baker, he's showing them love, but the guys like Tua and Waddle,
the guys on the offense aren't getting the same.
Getting the same love from the head coach. But I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let y'all go. Every quarterback that's in the playoffs has a great relationship with their head coach. Whether he's an offensive coordinator side of the ball or deep, whatever side of the space, it doesn't matter. They always have a good relationship. That's why it was a big issue with Aaron Rodgers and LaFleur. Y'all remember that? They're not getting along. Woo, woo. And Aaron came out and squashed that. They're winning. You see what I'm saying? Y'all and Harbaugh's not mistreating Lamar. You see what I'm saying? He knows that that's the call. So we got to have a great relationship. If me and the head coach and the quarterback don't have a great relationship, the team is not going to move right. That's period. Those are the two most important positions on the team organization, besides the owner and GM. It's the head coach, then the quarterback. So if the GM, the head coach is having an issue and the quarterback and the head coach having an issue, how are we going to succeed?
Hey, I had to sip my coffee on that one. So you said something, I want to go back to that. So the Bill Belichick coaching tree. The Bill Belichick coaching tree hasn't done particularly well over the years. And another one bit the dust this past Monday, Joe Judge. Regina, what do you think about the Joe Judge firing in New York? And my opinion, let me get your opinion and I'll give you my opinion on the Joe Judge firing. But what's your take on the Joe Judge firing in New York?
I guess what took so long, like we were all surprised that he wasn't fired on Monday. So, and that's one of the comparisons you saw all throughout, social media. Is like Flores got fired, but Joe Judge did not.
Right.
And that quarterback sneak on that, what was that? 4-9 or 3 and like that. I saw that. I thought it was like
I thought it was fake.
was that him like saying F y'all, I know I'm leaving anyway, so let me just pull out this dumb play? Like that was really crazy right there. That like
I've never seen nothing like that in all my years.
I'm saying it had to have been a joke or him just, trying to give the organization, the players, the fans the finger or something like that. Because really, there's no logical reason for that play.
Right.
But yeah, so we know it's been a bunch of turmoil there. The Giants, they had a horrible season. They've had a horrible. Actually, I looked up his record. So he was there for 2 seasons. So he only got 2, 6-10 in 2020 and 4-13 this season. Like you went from bad to worse. And you can't say it was because it was just the personnel. Because people try to give Daniel Jones some flack. That dude is not a bad quarterback. He's not. At least in fantasy, he can give you some points in fantasy. I know, because I actually had him on a few teams. So he can give you some fantasy points. Huh?
Let me add some context to that. Judge was a special teams coach over there. He wasn't even one of the offensive decent coordinator. But the thing is, rumors that we hear, and I'm going to let you put it because I don't know what this is going to add to what you're saying. They fired him because the rumor we are hearing is that they want Flores because they think Flores can bring Watson. They're going to hire the GM that drafted Watson in Houston and pair him with Flores to try to get Watson.
You mean to go to the Giants?
Yeah, that's what we're hearing.
That's very interesting. Had not heard that whole complicated. Had you heard that, Matt?
No, that's a new one. That's I haven't heard that one. I know that the Giants have been interested. They've been showing interest in Joe Ortiz from the Ravens and Wink Martindale.
But see, we hear what flows going on because people keep track of what's going on with him or whatever. But we got people trying to snoop into the Watson thing because the hair of it's clearing up. So we've been keeping our ear to that, and that's where that info came from. People in Houston also want him flow in Houston to try to save Watson from leaving Houston. So this is all the reason why he might get another shot.
I did hear that.
Yeah, I could definitely see the Houston Texans also wanting to trade him out of the AFC. I can see
they don't want to trade him. They want Flo. They thinking it Flo because they thinking he wanted to come to Miami because of Flo. So they're thinking if they hire Flo.
I don't think he wants to be in Houston at all. Like I think it's the ownership. It has nothing to do with the coaching staff. It's the ownership that he's not getting along with.
Now here's the funny thing though. Here's the funny thing, you guys, and correct me if I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. All throughout this entire legal battle, I've not heard the Texans organization say anything negative about him.
No.
Have you? Mm-mm. So I've not heard him say anything negative about him. I haven't heard anything to say that they're not in support. I'm not saying they should be in support. Obviously, you know, that needs to be cleared out. But the interesting thing is I have not heard them say they haven't
well, I would say this part, Gina. I would say this. When the allegations and the rumors came out, apparently the lawyer who was representing these ladies worked for the owner of the Houston Texans.
Well,
there's some type of connection.
Neighbors with
there's some type of connection. Right. So if you're trying,
that part is weird.
If you were really supporting Deshaun and you're trying to,
that is true.
Yeah, if you're supporting him and you wanted his best interest, you're probably not going. You're probably going to tell that lawyer like, hey, chill out. You know what I mean? Like, cause that owner got enough money to be like, go away. You know what I'm saying?
That lawyers are for. I
think they know
money
about
and recognition.
I think they knew about that the whole time. What it was when he said, "I don't want to be here."
Right. That's when all the stuff came out. It wasn't until he said he wanted to leave.
Right.
when all of this stuff came out.
It's speculation on all of our parts, but obviously everybody has said that.
Absolutely. And so Gene, I want to, finish with you with Joe Judge, and then we'll move on to Mike Zimmerman. But to me, Joe Judge was just, Rich Eisen said it best. Like, he was just so arrogant. Like, he was taking shots at other organizations and other coaching staffs. And
does it sound familiar? Who does that sound like?
He was standing up on the podium talking as if he like won championships or something. Like, he was, there's other guys out there who no longer with the organization that is calling me and want to come back to the organization and this, that.
What is that though? What is that about that organizational tree though? Like, because I think Vrabel is arrogant. I'm not a fan of Vrabel. I'm not going to take away from his work. Go ahead, Ennis.
Well, Regina, I was going to say that, but Vrabel didn't coach under him. He played under him.
Okay.
So he seen that he was one of them that took that, and he was like, "Oh, I'm not going to do that part. I'm a tweak. I'm gonna use some of that, but that's not going to be me." They sit in meetings with him. They spend all that time, more time with him than a player. So they did that. That's why I said, when he was saying that, I was like, who does that sound like? Flo. Like, all of them coaches had that issue. Bill O'Brien, Patricia, when he went to Detroit.
The threat Bill's coming back to the NFL.
I would go all the way back to Eric Mangini. Mangini was like that.
You see what I'm saying? That's the point. Like, if, like I said, God forbid, y'all have to get a new head coach. Y'all don't want someone that's only been in just one system. You want someone that had to go coach in Cincinnati, because you want them, when they get that job, you want them to be able to say, "Hey, I got a job here. Come work with me." But if one thing
about the Ravens organization, though, is that the Ravens organization has had some great coaches come through that building.
That's what I said.
Those coaches are still connected to Baltimore. So if that job, just for say, were to open up, they would have so many great candidates, because there are coaches who may be even in college who would have never thought of coming to the NFL. But when a job like Baltimore opens up, when you're going to have stability in the front office, you got a good owner, it ain't no drama, the scouts know how to scout, and they know how to draft, and they're going to give you everything that you need to win. I think you would have coaches lining up out the door to get that job. That would be.
Harbaugh isn't going anywhere though. So
no, he's not.
No.
I'm just saying that would be the most. That would be the most thought out job.
Yeah, but that coach has to have relationships to build his staff. That's why Harbaugh has been successful. His brother has been successful because they know how to put people in good quality people. Y'all might not like Roman, but for the beginning, he did okay. He did better than some of these OCs that's getting fired for 1 year left and right. Trust me, I know. We had three.
We're gonna hold on to that one. We're gonna hold on to that one because that's the next topic. But so Joe Judge, to me, like Gina said, like Ennis said, Joe Judge needed to be fired. His arrogance is what got him fired. His
lack of production,
his lack of accountability got him fired. His lack of awareness got him fired, and his lack of performance got him fired. So Joe Judge, we wish you luck, buddy, but you got yourself fired. I think the next time, if you get an opportunity to be a head coach, if you're listening, be yourself, not Bill Belichick. But anyway, so next up on the coaching carousel, Mike Zimmerman. Gina, I'm gonna let you kick us off on this one. Mike Zimmerman finally out in Minnesota. Mike Zimmerman is a really, really good coach. He's a well-respected coach. Deion Sanders swears by the man. Says the man is one of the best coaches he's ever had in his whole entire life. Great defensive coordinator. I think his Achilles heel was quarterback. But I wonder what Gina thinks. Do we agree? Do you think him not having a quarterback really did him in, or what do you think it was?
Well, I think it was a contributing factor. Like, again, he's 8 seasons with the Vikings. 7-9, 11-5, 8-8, 13-3, 8-7, 10-6, 7-9, 8-9. So really, 2 years in a row with losing seasons, but not bad. They almost get there. I think he got fired because he could not get them over the hump. they have been almost there all of these 8 years with some good personnel. I mean, this dude has had Dalvin Cook for the last several years. He got Justin Jefferson now. Like, who would not kill to have Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson, on their team? Definitely, they've had good defense. Vikings defense overall, maybe not every single year, overall has been pretty good. And they always get like this close, but he's not been able to get them. I mean, but also what rings out in my mind is field goal kickers. Like, they have lost games because the kicker couldn't get the kick through. Like, remember the year they missed getting into the they've missed getting into the playoffs because dude missed a field goal. I think they were in the playoff game. Dude missed a field goal. Like, different kickers. Like, I don't know. It's been like
it's been rough for them. Yeah.
It's been Lemony Snicket for him. It's been straight Lemony Snicket. So I understand why they moved on for him, but again, I agree with you. He's not a bad coach. He's gotten them so close, just have not been able to get him all the way. That division that they're in is a tough one. Trying to get up over Green Bay is tough. Because out of the three, obviously the Vikings are the second best team in that division. And trying to get past Green Bay is really rough. So I understand why they went away from him, but I don't think he's a bad coach, and he'll probably get picked up somewhere else for sure.
Absolutely. And those, Gina, you would remember this, and this, I'm pretty sure you're an AFC savant yourself. When Zimmerman was the defensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals, they were a thorn in our side. Like, that defense was always competitive and really, really good every year. Actually, it was the best part of their team for a while. They had a really, really good defense, and that's how he even got the head coaching job, because he had been a defensive coordinator for a long time, and he was one of those guys like the guy from Denver. I always forget his name. Head coach that just got fired in Denver.
Fangio.
Fangio. Him and Fangio have been some excellent defensive coordinators throughout the years. Their biggest problem is they had never up to that point, they had never gotten an opportunity to be a head coach. And both of them, well, I think Zimmerman had more success. He was in the playoffs. Remember the year with Diggs had the incredible catch against New Orleans, but then they run into the buzzsaw in Philly, and that was Philly's Super Bowl year. And then, like, I remember, I know what you're talking about, Gina, where the kicker, I think his name was Walsh. This is before they had their new stadium built. They were playing in the Minnesota outdoor game, right. The outdoor stadium, and it was cold. I think they still had Mike Wallace on that team, and they were playing against Seattle, and he missed a field goal. He missed a couple of field goals in that game, cost them. Man, the Vikings have had it rough for a long time. I go back to when Brett Favre was there. And they went to the NFC Championship game, and Brett Favre threw that interception at the end. Or how about the Vikings team that ran through the league the Randy Moss year, his rookie year? They ran through the league, they ran through the NFL, and then they lose in the playoffs to the Atlanta Falcons, the Dirty Birds. It's just been rough. If you're a Minnesota Vikings fan out there and you're watching this, my heart goes out to you. I'm sorry.
They just ride teams too long like that. He should have been gone at year 6. Like,
you think?
Yes. Like, he rides. Now they trying to get rid of Cousins. You know how much they paid Cousins all them years? Like, you could have moved assets and you get over the hump. They didn't try. They didn't make no real moves to try to get over the hump. They rolled them players. They added through the draft or whatever. Might signed a free agent, but they didn't do nothing dramatic. You don't remember any player that tipped the scale going to Minnesota? You see what I'm saying? Like, who has went there, or who have they went after besides Cousins?
That's a good point, because Cousins is not a bad quarterback.
Right.
No, he's
not a great quarterback, and because that, you end up like the Ravens were in the end of the Flacco years, where you're not bad enough to pick in the top 5, but you're also not good enough to win a Super Bowl. So you end up in the 8-8 no man's land. And you really can't move on from Cousins because you don't draft high enough to get a quarterback to replace him. That's not agent options.
But you don't want to trade an asset and some picks to move up. Like, you ain't taking no gambles. They don't never take no gambles. They just stay status quo. Whatever falls to us comes to us.
Right, but what access do they have, though? I mean, you're not gonna. Who are you gonna trade away to try to get up and get something, though?
Right. Because they don't have
Especially
a
if
lot
you
of
right
assets
out there in the middle, right, and you don't have all the top playmakers. You
Right.
got a few. You can't trade away the few playmakers that you have. That would be the equivalent of when he got rid of what's the face got rid of D Hop. Like, who does that? So I mean, he couldn't do that.
Yeah. So I will say this though. The next head coach of the Vikings has something to work with, right? You got Justin Jefferson, you have Dalvin Cook, they have I like the tight end that they have over there, pretty good tight end. They have
Thielen,
some decent,
Adam Thielen.
They have Adam Thielen if they
Yeah,
decide to continue with him. They have some decent pieces on the offensive line. I think they need to add, one or two more pieces on that line. The defense is what really needs the overhaul, right? They run it back a couple of years with Barr. I think he's a free agent this year. I like to see the Ravens go after Anthony Barr, especially now with Bowser being hurt. He'd be a nice little insurance policy. But they have some pieces, and so the cupboard is not completely bare. If I'm the new head coach, I want my own quarterback. I want to move on from Cousins. Cousins made a lot of money to basically be mediocre, and I would probably get a new quarterback, and then just go from there, man. I wouldn't be surprised if Minnesota is a dark horse in the running for Deshaun Watson, because Houston may want to send him out of the conference. Minnesota, they do have some cap space and they do have some draft picks. They could work out a deal to get Deshaun Watson, and that would be intriguing, because if you put Deshaun Watson with Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and Dalvin Cook, now you're cooking. Now you just need to build a defense. The next guy 12, on that list, we're going to go back to the AFC, Vic Fangio. Ennis, we'll let you kick off the Vic Fangio, and then Regina, we'll let you finish up Vic Fangio.
I don't really have too much. Or it was just like we were saying, like some people just good at what they do. I don't think he was gonna be a good head coach. Like, people try to dip their feet in the water. I respect that, but sometimes you got to know what your lane is and just rock it. Like, I feel bad for like people that don't succeed. Like, I wish everybody can have success, but like sometimes doing something ain't what you like. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to explain. Like,
you saying it.
Yeah, he's good at defense coordinator. Get your money, be the top defense coordinator, and demand your salary. Rock out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not easy just taking over the whole thing. Like, that's where owners want to just grab the hot guy, but don't look into, can he manage all 53? It's different when you're just managing one side of the ball and you got assistants, you know what I'm saying? And the pressure's not on you on the sideline, having to decide to throw a flag, because that's what we had to deal with Flo. Like, it's a game situation. You see what I'm saying? If you're horrible in game situation, but you can be the great defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, but if you're bad at game situation managing, it's not gonna help. Like, all the coordinating IQ you got to know how to game manage, people manage, relationship. You have a bigger broad once you take that title. So, like I said, it's not easy for everybody. I feel bad that he didn't work out for him, because they got a good team down there.
Gina?
So Fangio, 3 seasons, 7-9, 5-11, 7-10. I mean, obviously it was a struggle. You can't always. I mean, you can't always go with record, but definitely it was a struggle for him. I really don't have anything good to say, because he just, as a Ravens fan, he left a bad taste in my mouth this season for sure. It's like, dude,
look, when he got fired, I was like,
the Broncos. Y'all had that little 3-0 win, but you had played the Jets, the Jaguars, and who was the other team? The Giants. You had played the Jets, the Jaguars, and the Giants, and was on a 3-0 run and thought that your team were a contender.
And then they ran into LJ and got exposed.
Right, until they ran into who? Y'all see that pretty, that shiny. So you ran into us.
And got exposed.
Right, and got exposed for where you really were. But I'm like, I'm not mad at that. It's early in the season. You have time to try to make some corrections, and do something. And they did make a little turnaround. They got some more wins in there and everything. But Yeah, dude. I don't know. You
That,
got up there on the podium and talked bad about our organization.
like he ain't
You
worked
was
there.
mad.
Like he wasn't
Right,
count,
right,
like he
right,
wasn't
right.
cashing checks.
And was like, I know what goes on there. The coach doesn't care about player safety. Like, you just went on a rant, and 2 or 3 weeks later, you were still talking about that game. Boo, pull a Belichick. You move on. When that game is over, you move on to the next team. So I'm like, why is
His
he still
feelings was
talking
hurt.
about us? So all of that about him just left a bad taste in my mouth. Like, dude, you're the head coach of a team. Y'all need to move on and see what you can do to win the next game and the game after that and the game after that. So, and I'm not saying, what he said was true or not true. I'm not judging what he said. I'm judging the fact that he said it. And you shouldn't have got so butthurt over, it was still time on the clock. You the one decided to go for the touchdown at the end of the game. Like when you couldn't score enough points to win that game, so you were trying to get the score closer to make the game look like it was closer. We got the interception. Then you're going to get mad because we did one play and got 5 yards so we can stay on and you got pissed about that.
You
You were
know, I always
concentrating on the
say
wrong thing.
the NFL stands for not for long, and that's for every player, unless your name is Tom Brady. And while you're there, you want to make as much money as possible, and you also want to get your name in the history books for good things if it's possible. Every player want to be remembered well after they're gone, right? If you're a young player, if you're a young person who's not, say that you're not even born yet, for the generation that's not even born yet, they'll be able to look up records and see who holds the record for this, who holds the record for that. And if you're a player that's playing right now, it's very important to have your name in history. And so for any team or any coach that has a problem with a player or a team going for history, then you need to really look in the mirror and question your real football acumen and your football, like how much do you love football? Because that's what it's about. It's about having fun. It's about scoring points. It's about winning games and championships. And it's also about breaking records. This is part of the game. What I will say about the Denver Broncos is this. Just like I said about Minnesota, the cupboard is not bare. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of great pieces over there. They have a really good receiving
core. They need a QB, though, yeah.
They do need a quarterback. They have a really good running back. I love Javonte Williams.
Right.
They have Jerry Jeudy, who I like. Tim Patrick.
Marlon. I will never forget that.
Tim Patrick, who he used to be a Baltimore Raven. It's a lot of those guys around the league that used to be Baltimore Ravens, didn't get a chance, and then went somewhere else and balled out. But I'm very happy for Tim Patrick. They also have they have a pretty good tight end. They have some solid pieces on defense. That secondary is really good and young. They need a quarterback. There's one guy out there that if he went there, it could really shake up the AFC.
You talking about Russell or you talking about Aaron?
He wears number 12, and he plays in Wisconsin. That is the type of guy that John Elway and the Denver Broncos have shown a propensity to go after. They went after Peyton Manning. They've tried their hand at young quarterbacks, but Aaron Rodgers is absolutely the type of quarterback that they would go for, and he would really fit in up there in Colorado. It kind of,
I don't think
he would really fit up there in Colorado. I think he would. I don't want to see it because that makes our road to the Super Bowl harder. But from a football standpoint, if Denver were to get Aaron Rodgers, it could get very interesting in the AFC.
We're hearing the only way he leaves Green Bay if Hackett leaves. That's why I don't know if y'all been hearing teams interview that Coach Hackett from Green Bay, because they believe if he wins it and Hackett gets a job, Aaron's gonna say, "Here's your trophy. I want to go where he's going, or I'm retiring." You know what I'm saying? That's the rumor coming out of Wisconsin that because we're in some fake rumor that him and Devontae Adams might come down to us. We're it's a fool's gold, but if it happened, hey, but I don't see it.
Gina, this is your favorite topic. This next topic is Gina's favorite topic. She loves talking about it. We talk about it every day on Twitter. We talk about it till we're blue in the face. You all know, if you're a Baltimore Ravens fan, the number one topic in the flock, Greg Roman.
Don't forget Matt Nagy, though. We just got to throw him out there because even if we don't talk about
Matt Nagy Okay, Bears fans, Matt Nagy got fired. The end.
They probably happy. They probably happy we don't talk about it that much.
Exactly.
Sure,
like they
sure.
probably never want to hear the name Matt Nagy ever again. And
Yeah.
I hate it because my name is Matt as well.
And
But
you
Matt
know,
Nagy,
speaking
you
of
set the Mats
segue,
back, bro.
segue into the Ravens, you know, people tried to tie him to us. I'm like, that is crazy. Like, if we fired Greg Roman, if that's a big if, and it's dwindling day by day for Ravens fans that Harbaugh might bring in Matt Nagy. I'm like, where did that even come from? But anyway, we don't want any parts of that.
But what's bad, they trying to put that Mitch Trubisky draft on him, and he didn't want him.
No,
It came up. Yeah, that's
the
they
GM
trying to blame that. They
the
trying to
GM
blame that
traded
on
up to
him.
the second overall pick to get Mitch Trubisky. He figured. I think the GM thought he was like outsmarting everybody. Like, ooh, I'm gonna get the Tom Brady of the draft, and no one's gonna see it coming. I'm gonna get this kid out of North Carolina who's only played one season and doesn't have much tape on him otherwise, and I'm gonna just draft him, and he's gonna come out of nowhere, and I'm gonna look like a genius. And you had Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson in that same draft. Sometimes, listen to me, general managers out there.
That's why when it came out that he didn't want Trubisky, they fired the GM the next day because he put it on him. Like, bro, when that came out, I said, whoa, because that's what everybody was saying. Like, Matt Nagy thought that was his quarterback. He went in up and got him. He didn't want him. Like,
don't outsmart yourself. GMs, don't overthink it. If Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes are there, don't try to be the smartest guy in the room by drafting Mitch Trubisky. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Because he beat a weak Hurricanes team that year he came out. Like, bro, are you serious? He beat a weak Hurricanes team. This wasn't the Ed Reed, Ray Lewis Hurricanes. Like, bro, you drafted him off that? Like, oh, my God.
Anyway, Gina, Greg Roman.
Yeah, so as you know, the Ravens fans, we've discussed the plight of G-Ro ad nauseum now on Twitter every single day. I mean, every day. We've been in Twitter space. We've been blowing Twitter space up. I am still on the we should let G-Ro go train, or I heard an interesting option today in the space, and I think it was Skeptic Goat. I love that dude.
Shout out to my man Skeptic.
Yeah. He said, so what you do is you don't fire him because he's like, Harbaugh's not going to fire him, but you change his role in the organization, and then that will force him to make a decision and likely leave himself because he's not going to want to be lesser than. You know what I'm saying?
So you mean the same thing we did to Marty Morningwig?
Right. Pull that same thing, and that way he'll up and quit and decide he wants to spend more time with his family. So that's what you do. That was brilliant when Skeptic Goat said that. Shout out to you. I'm like, okay, that's what we do. You save face. You don't actually fire him, and but he'll still move on because I don't think that he's the dude to take us where we need to go. I, as a Ravens fan, am not saying that G-Ro is trash. We're not saying that. I don't think any football fan is saying that. Right. He's not trash. What we're saying is he's not the person to take us into the future for where we need to go with our offense and with Lamar. That's all we're saying. Thank you for what you have done so far. Thank you for that 2018 season. Thank you for the 2019 season. But don't get it twisted. You had Lamar Jackson. Mm-hmm. So it was Lamar. But what we're not saying that you didn't play a part of it. But for where we want to go, like I say, some people come into your life for a reason. Some people come for a season. I think his season is up, and that's all it is. I think his season is up. I think he will forever be a great run game coordinator. But if you want to incorporate a strong passing game, a creative passing game, a passing game that's going to get you to Super Bowls, I just don't think I can say he's not the dude for us, not for our QB, not for us. So that's why we want to move on from him. I still want that to happen. We don't think it's likely. One of the Ravens fans, and I'm not even going to mention his name because I don't even want to give you credit for it, son, put out a fake one on Twitter, and we kind of like fell for it. We were in his space. We was like, we started screaming. It was
that was bad, man.
That was real bad.
Really
it was
like about to have a party, like we won a Super Bowl. It's sad that we were really celebrating somebody's fire.
For real.
Lord, forgive me.
Yep.
But
It
Celebrating
was
somebody's
so we
termination
wish
like
we
that.
wish G Roll the very best. I'm sorry, Ennis. We wish G Roll the
nah,
very
nah,
best.
nah, you good.
And if he's still going to be here, he's still going to be here. We're going to have to deal with it, and we're going to have some hope. But our fingers are still crossed that we will move on to T. Martin or to somebody else who we believe can take us to the promised land. We just don't think it's him.
All
But
right. Here's my
I
take.
hope he retire or stay there. But I'll tell you why after he go.
Here's my take. And this is my soapbox
You
talk.
wrong,
I'm
Ennis.
going to talk Ravens fans off the cliff. Because we are really on the edge, y'all. Like really, like, you know, my background, my career field is psychology. I might have to give some of y'all one-on-one sessions because y'all be hurting every day. Like, you know, y'all 3 hours ahead of us. I'm on the West Coast. So I wake up and y'all already in the space. And I just be, sometimes I'll click on just to hear the conversation and I hear Greg Roman and Greg Roman. And I'll just be like, oh God, I it's too early for that. So here it is, Ravens Flock. I know you want Greg Roman fired. I know this.
Say we.
Greg,
Don't say
2019, we were 14-2. 2020, we were 11-5. And we just finished 2021. But take some solace in this. In the time that Greg Roman has been there, the Ravens have had the best ranked offense in the history of the organization. The 3 years he's been there, he's been by far
Lamar.
He's been by far the best. But I will say this. When you're comparing him to previous Ravens offensive coordinators, the bar is not set too high. This organization has not had great institutional offensive coordinators as a organization. They have not picked offensive coordinators very well.
Yeah, except for
Let's
that
talk about
Kubiak
Matt
guy.
Kavanaugh. Let's talk about the Cam
Cameron.
Camerons. We can talk about the Jim Zorns. We can talk about who was out? Marty Morningwig. I mean, the list goes on of guys that just we wanted to be put out of misery when our offense was on the field. I am a Ravens fan, and I'm sure Gina would agree. We're a Ravens fan that can remember when we would rather see the defense on the field than the offense.
Right.
Just get us 6 points, Ray Lewis would say. Just get us 6 points and we'll win the game.
Right.
That's how bad it has been as a Ravens fan for offense. So while Greg Roman is not the best offensive coordinator, he's been our best offensive coordinator. And we just went through a season of injuries. He may get fired. Ravens fan,
Lamar.
2022, we may get our wish. But here's the thing. Be careful what you ask for. I just went through a whole list of offensive coordinators throughout our organization's history and has not been good. If we fire Greg Roman, who will be the next?
T. Martin.
Will be another guy that we hate. Will be another guy that we want fired after 2 years. Just be careful what you ask for. I think Greg Roman brings some elements that I do like from the run game. There's a lot to be desired in the pass game. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt that he didn't have J.K. Dobbins or Gus Edwards this year. And a lot of talk in the offseason was that they were going to get the running backs involved a lot more. Nick Boyle didn't come back until middle of the season. And the offensive line never gained his footing. I'm looking at you, Villanueva. Let's hope Ronnie Stanley comes back healthy and we get our guys back. And let's hope Greg Roman can deliver us a Super Bowl. But Greg Roman, if you don't, you'll be added to the list of offensive coordinators that the Ravens have gone through. So you're on the clock. Ravens Flock, step away from the edge. And I think, well, I hope that we'll have better results in the future.
Thank you for that speech. Thank you for that speech, Doctor. When you run for office, I'll vote for you. I'm gonna
You're
say,
welcome. You're welcome.
but I'm
You're
still
welcome.
going to say, nah.
I'm here every day. I take tips. I
I don't care who the coordinator was. We would have been successful because of the Lamar Jackson dude.
Yes.
Lamar Jackson. I don't care who the coordinator was.
El Freaky.
We were gonna get something done with having Lamar Jackson. First of all, when he came into the league, we all know he got thrown in the middle of the season after Joe Flacco had a hip injury. He got thrown in, and who going to catch him, boo? Nobody could catch him. That dude was breaking ankles all over the place.
Gina, I'm gonna get a shirt.
That wasn't coaching.
Gina, I'm gonna get a merch shirt with your face on it and quotation mark to say, "Who gonna check us, boo?
Who gonna check us, boo?" Although I will then have to turn around and pay that money to Cherie from Real Housewives of Atlanta, because that's where it comes from. That comes from.
He's already.
Yeah. That's taken.
Okay.
She was like, "Who gonna check me, boo?" That was one of those lines. But yes. So she, I don't care who it was. Lamar was going to get out on the field and be Lamar. I don't care who the coach was. He was going to get out there and do Lamar. The teams were still going to be scratching their heads trying to figure out how to cover them. And we were going to win those games. You didn't see coaching really be a factor until we got to the playoffs. The playoffs are a whole different ball game. Absolutely. And that's where you can see who was coaching. Because we got out there and played the Chargers that we had just played 2 weeks earlier and didn't change anything at all. Just like, let's just get out there and run the exact same plays we played against them. And they did what? They knew exactly what we were doing, down to the point that they looked at Ronnie Stanley's footing, the way he placed his foot. They literally studied everything and said, oh, when he places his foot this way, it's a run. And when he does it the other way, it's a pass. Mm-hmm. We didn't change anything. And that's where the coaching came in. And what? We lost that game. Lamar won those other games. But we come around the next season. Of course, we got a great running game. We got Lamar. He's out there throwing passes. We have a killer year. I'm not saying that Roman did not contribute, but most of the tribute for me needs to go to Lamar and not to Giro. And if anything, it's just that Lamar fit into the scheme that he had because he's a run game coordinator. Lamar is a dynamic runner. So Lamar fit into the scheme that he already had. So, yes, did he contribute? Yes, he contributed. But my tribute is going to Lamar for our previous year's success. And, yes, we still need to move on.
All right. Thank you, Gina. Thank you. Hey, we need to make a future segment just for you called Who Gonna Check 'Em, Boo? And we're going to go through the highlights and, we'll have you tell us who's checking for who. Let's make sure we put that down. Don't try to steal it if you're watching it. I know y'all got your podcasts out there. Don't try to steal it. That's our segment. Who gonna check them, boo? But now let's move on to the playoffs for the final part of our show. Hey, DraftKings, y'all might want to holler at us. Give us that paid partnership because these picks are solid. When we go through our picks today, you can take them to the bank. I guarantee it's gonna win you a lot of money. Let's start off with some playoff games that stand out to you. Just give us one or two individually, and then we can go through our weekly picks for the playoffs this week. With Ennis. Go ahead, Ennis. You haven't spoken in a while. What's a playoff game that stands out to you, brother?
The Cowboys game.
Against the 49ers, right?
Yeah.
You stole my thunder.
I think, like I said, I'm in Texas, even though I'm a Dolphins fan. They always get there, and then, like Stephen A. say, just wait. And it is history. So I think the 49ers, because I watch their games when I'm not watching Miami, because they're on the TV here. So if I don't tune into another game that I want to see, I'll watch them. Or when they on Monday or Thursday, whatever, Sunday night. And because I got homies here that fans, and I want them to have that, since my team ain't in it, like I want to see my friends happy that are here that are Cowboy fans. But I'm like Mike McCarthy, I tried to tell them when they signed, I didn't like that. But the 49ers going to run through that, and I believe that. Like, Michael Parsons is not there yet as far as run defense. He too light in the booty. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a great pass rusher, but they're not going to let Jimmy G drop back 30, 35 times. They're going to run that ball, and they're already suffering against the run. So
I'm so excited about that game, Ennis, though, because here's the reason why. It's the nostalgia for me, right? Like, I remember
the legendary
Baltimore, that 49ers, Dallas Cowboys, Michael Irvin, Deion Sanders, Jerry Rice.
It just don't have that flair though.
I mean, it don't. You know, you don't got the triplets in Dallas no more. I mean, you got the new triplets. You know, you got CD, Dak, and Zeke. You know, the 49ers. You know, you got.
If they was like 12-4 or something, you know what I'm saying, and then Cowboys was then yeah, but they just squeaked in. So I'm like, but now they hot. So, but the the Cowboys leveled off. Like that's what I'm saying. Like they panicking here. They done leveled off. They worried. Is the offense clicking? That's why they played them against the Eagles so much because they wasn't clicking and the defense ain't tackling. Like so, yeah, they worried. Like.
Yeah, the nostalgia of that game is really exciting to me. Go ahead, Gina. What's the game that stands out to you this weekend?
Oh, so I was going to comment on that one, but
you sure? Go ahead.
Yeah, so for me, the keys for that particular game is on the Cowboys side, because this game could really come down to either team. I'm going to give the edge to the 49ers though, but if the Cowboys offensive line can stand up and Dak has time to throw. Oh, I think that he can burn them. The offensive line has not been tight like they're supposed to be this entire season. And there have been multiple games when Dak has been on the run, like the Beyonce thing. So no, I'm saying that if he has time to throw, he will be able to burn them, and I think Trayvon Diggs will do his thing. However, when it comes to coaches, it's not even close. Shanahan is the better coach for me. I think on the run game, they may be equal. We know Debo can do a lot of different things though, but it could come down to be equal. But I think Shanahan is the better coach, and I think overall it's going to be a close one. But I'm gonna give it to 49ers in the end, just because he got the better coach. They got the better coach. I'm gonna give it to him.
Them defensive ends though. Bosa and that other boy.
Yeah. But the game that sticks out to me since, and it stole my thunder, I'm going to go to the AFC, and I'm going to go Cincinnati, Las Vegas.
That's what I was going to ask.
If you look at this one on paper, you would say, oh, the Bengals are probably going to, tear them up. But we all know, if you've been watching the Bengals this year, the Bengals have not been a consistent football team.
Yeah,
they'll beat the Ravens and then lose to the Jets. They'll beat the 49ers or beat a good team, and then they lose to a bad team. The Las Vegas Raiders is not a bad team. They've been scrappy all year. And their strengths on defense happens to be Cincinnati's weakness. The Vegas Raiders has those pass rushers and Max Crosby and Yannick Ngakoue. Those guys can give your tackles fit if you don't have solid tackles. And I don't think Cincinnati's tackles are the best. So I give the Vegas Raiders the advantage in that area. Obviously, Cincinnati has the advantage with their receiving core against Las Vegas's secondary. But if the pass rushers can get heat on Burrow, I think the Vegas Raiders can really get in this game and possibly even win it. Because that offense of Las Vegas can definitely put up points, and they will be able to put up points against the Bengals defense. That defense has been solid this year, but it hasn't been great. And as you've seen against the Chiefs and against some other teams, you can definitely put up points on that defense. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be interesting. I'm worried about the Vegas, Raiders traveling to the East Coast in the cold of Ohio, Cincinnati. I'm worried about that, but I think they can do it. I'm gonna be rooting for those guys this weekend. That's a game that really stands out to me. One more game that stands out to you guys, and another game that stands out to you guys before we make our picks.
I'm gonna have to go with. I'm just gonna stay with the AFC, and you got to go with the Steelers Chiefs. Although I think all the AFC games are banging, really.
Yeah.
Steelers Chiefs, Patriots Bills, Raiders Bengals, like that's good. All three of those games are really going to be good. But the Steelers Chiefs, nobody is falling for what Ben Roethlisberger said. First of all, ain't nobody falling for that.
That's that reverse psychology.
Yeah, we know better than that. I'm saying the Chiefs should win that game, but as we know, the Chiefs are not invincible. And furthermore, the Chiefs do not garner the fear that they used to.
No.
Not anymore. And I'm saying they're not still a good football team, but the teams are not afraid of the Chiefs anymore,
No.
not at all. And so and plus Kelsey and Tyreek got hurt in that last game, both of them. So I don't know what condition they are in. Are they going to be 100%? So I'm not gonna the Steelers should not win the game, but I can't say that they can't win the game. And it's really going to depend on what their defense could do. And they got Cam Hayward, they got Joe Hayden, they got T.J. Watt, like they got what's the other guy? So they have some good defensive pieces. They may be able to put some stuff together. I don't know how many points their offense is going to score, and that's where they're going to fall down because the Chiefs can score. So yeah, that's going to be a good game. I want them both to lose, but if they both can't lose, then obviously I just want the Steelers to go ahead and get knocked out, and the Bengals just they AFC. I don't want.
Let's get the North out of there, man.
Yeah, get them out.
All right. If you're out there watching right now, this is the part of the show where you might want to get a pen and paper or pull out your notepad on your phone. Because if you're going to go in Vegas, you're going to make those picks, this is where you need to get them from. We're going to go down. We're going to go through our picks. And I guarantee you can take these picks to the bank. Going to make you a lot of money this weekend. So let's go through our picks. It's our pick segment. We're going to start ladies first. Let's start with the AFC. Let's go to that game you just mentioned, Gina. Chiefs, Steelers. What say you?
I'm still going to go with Chiefs. I think you have to go with Chiefs unless that defense just falls all the way off. I'm still going to have to go with the Chiefs.
Yep, I'm right there. Take it to the bank. Go ahead and cash your check now. Kansas City Chiefs in Mile High. There's no way the Steelers hobbling into the playoffs, barely making it into the playoffs, are going to go in and win that game. I think anyone can have a chance, right? This season has showed us any given Sunday, but not this Sunday. Bye-bye, Steelers. Enjoy retirement, Big Ben. Chiefs, move on.
I don't know. Ennis, you agree with that?
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, this shouldn't even be a question. Like, Arrowhead and playoff, like I said, I lived in Kansas City. So, their team is not playoff ready to go at Arrowhead. That defense, the Chiefs defense in Arrowhead and playoff is a whole different ballgame. I'm telling y'all. Like, you have to be in that stadium when, especially playoff time, like, it's no joke. That noise, like, Ben is a vet to handle it, but the team is not ready for that all over. Like, he don't have them old teams like he used to. That battle with y'all. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm happy he got in. You know what I'm saying? It's a good story for him, but it ends there.
All right. Well, there's the sweep.
Count out Tomlin, but okay.
There's the sweep.
Yeah.
There you have it.
I did want to say that man, there's a lot of respect on his name. He hasn't had a losing season since he's been there. Yeah. So I got to salute that man on that.
Season and playoffs is two different things. But, yeah, there you have it. It's a clean sweep over here. Gina, myself, and we all picked the Chiefs. Shout out to my boy Javon and Isaiah, our resident Chiefs fans. They're not with us today, but we picked your team. So, that means y'all going to win. All right, Inish, kick us off. The next matchup, Bills, Patriots. Who you picking?
It's in Buffalo.
It is in New England. No, I'm sorry. It is in Buffalo. I'm sorry.
Buffalo. Mac Jones, the blueprint is out on him. But it's just getting Buffalo stop their run. Like, they did the second time, and it wasn't as bad as the first game when they ran two, and he only threw three passes or whatever that was. Was it the first or second game? I know one game.
No, you was right. You're right. He only threw three passes.
That was the first game. And they figured that out the second game. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, in Buffalo, I think Mac Jones' first playoff, his eyes going to be too wide open. Like, he's cool and calm, but that's like we all know that playoffs is a whole different animal.
All right, well, let me pick that game. I'm going to go Bills. I'm going to go Buffalo Bills. I'm still mad at the Bills from last year eliminating us out the playoffs. So this is really emotional for me. It is. I'm sorry, y'all. It's still too soon. I know it's been a year, but that's literally our last playoff game. I thought we would have another playoff game this year to get the taste of that one out. But I got to soak on another offseason of remembering the Bills. So, but the Bills move on this week. Take it to the bank. Go ahead and cash your check.
I disagree.
Buffalo. I just think they have too many weapons. It's going to be super cold up there. It might even snow. And I just don't see. I think New England they're getting close, but I think that team is too young, and maybe they might be a year away. So I'm going to go Bills.
Going against both of y'all on that. I'm going with the Patriots. I firmly
Ooh.
believe in having a run game in the postseason, and the Bills do not have it. And I absolutely believe in Bill Belichick and his scheming. And McDermott is good. He's great. But this is the playoffs, someplace that Bill Belichick is literally at home every single year. He's at home. So with the way he's able to scheme and take out your people, and the cold is not a factor. He's in New England. So neither has an advantage as it pertains to the weather or the cold. There is no advantages there. They're both used to playing in that severely cold weather. So I think that you don't have to be killer on the QB side. You just need to not lose the game for them. I believe their running game is going to be back with Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, and all them. I think the running game is going to be back in full flow, and I think that defense is going to show up. It should be a very good game. I honestly believe the Patriots is going to march away with this one.
All right, so look, NFL Network has when they do their picks, and the one all ball pick is they call it the lone wolf. So ours is called the black sheep. So this one, Gina, you are the black sheep. All right, next game. I'm gonna start this one off. Cincinnati, Las Vegas. If you tuned into what we were talking about as far as our the picks that we think that it'll be, that stood out to us. To me, it's the Raiders Bengals. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with the Raiders in the upset. That's my pick on this segment. On this particular one. Go ahead and cash it. It's the upset of the week. I'm pretty sure you can get a good bet on the Raiders this week. So, because the Bengals are favorite. I don't know, man. I just trust something about Derek Carr, that team. They're playing for something different this year. It's a lot more than just X's and O's in football for them. I think those guys are really playing for something. A lot of people wrote them off when they lost their coach and then they lost their receiver and they got a lot of other stuff going on. So I go with the Raiders in that pick.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm just going to vote what I feel on this one, and I don't care. I want to do that. So I definitely want the Raiders to win. I want the Bengals to get knocked out immediately out of the playoffs. So I think it's going to be a good game. It should be a good offensive game. I'm looking for this to be a higher scoring game. Not as much defense, but definitely some type of shootout. Waller is back. I'm hoping he's 100%. Because they definitely need him, and Josh Jacobs seems to be getting the job done. So I'm definitely going to go with the Raiders, and that's who I really want to win. That's what I'm basing it on. But the Bengals definitely have a chance for sure to win this game. But I am going to go with the Raiders.
Okay. All right. So we both going with the Raiders on that one. If you're watching this, I know you noticed Ennis just disappeared. He had to go deal with something. So Ennis, we'll see you guys next week. But me and Gina gonna finish out these picks. Let's go real quick, rapid fire, Gina. Let's go Bucks Eagles.
Ooh, honestly, I feel like the Eagles can upset the Bucks. I really do. I feel like they can do it. The Bucks are inconsistent for me, but the thing that makes them win in the end is because that number 12 is at the end of the game, and you got to keep him off the field. If he's on the field at the end of the game, he's going to score. They're going to win. You got to keep him off the field. I really want to go with the Eagles on this one. The Eagles haven't given me enough to trust them, so it's the postseason. I'm gonna have to go with Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I'm going with Tampa Bay too, because the winner of that game actually would be playing. Well, if Tampa Bay wins, they go to the winner of Rams Cardinals. But if the Eagles win, they would play Packers. I'm really looking forward to a Brady Rodgers NFC Championship game again.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. That would be interesting. I'm sure the NFL would like that as well. So I'm going Bucks this week. I just think that they don't even need, all the receivers that they lost to beat the Eagles. I think they got the running game going, and I just think, as long as you got 12
Yeah,
out there,
Fournette. I forgot Fournette is back.
yeah, as
That
long as
makes
you
a
got
big
12,
difference.
you got to go with the Bucks. All
Mm-hmm.
right, I'll start with the next one, Cowboys 49ers. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going 49ers in the upset. It's just that simple. 49ers in the upset. I think they're the most physical team. I think they're playing with house money because no one really expected them to even be there, no one's going to be picking them this week. Cowboys are the media darlings. Everyone loves the Cowboys, and I just think 49ers are going to smack them in the mouth, and we're going to see another Cowboys fail season.
I'm going with the Niners too.
Okay, and then we're going to finish up with Rams Cardinals. You start.
Ooh, I really want Kyler Murray and the Cardinals to go. I just, I'm gonna have to go with the Rams. I mean, they seemingly have it all. It hasn't all come to fruition though on the field this season. It hasn't. They've been struggling still, even with that high-powered offense that they have. And we know what they got on defense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with the Rams. They split this season. The Cardinals beat the first game. Rams beat the second game. Yep. I'm going to have to go with the Rams.
Yeah, Cardinals got J.J. Watt back for the playoffs. I don't trust Matthew Stafford. I just don't. I think in this game, they played twice this year. Arizona manhandled them in the first game. Second game, Rams sneaked out a win. I think the third one goes back to the Cardinals. Okay. I believe the Cardinals are the Rams are at home, but it won't matter. It's good weather. They're going to be in L.A., so and it's not that long of a trip from Arizona to L.A. So I go with Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. Cliff Kingsbury gets his first playoff win, and those boys move on. Is D-Hop playing in this game? He's not playing, right?
No, I think he's out. I don't think he has
I knew he was out for the
back.
season.
Yeah.
They were saying he could probably come back for the playoffs. But even without D-Hop, they have a lot of weapons. Chris Westry. I mean, not Chris Westry. Antoine Wesley was I was a big fan of Antoine Wesley when he was with the Ravens. Another guy like Tim Patrick, who was with the Ravens and left, and now finding success. He's playing for his college coach, Cliff Kingsbury.
I need that O-line to show up, though.
Yeah. I think they'll get the running game going. James Conner's been out of this world this year. I think Arizona pulls off the upset. The Rams got Eric Weddle coming out of retirement, man. I just don't know. I think it's just a little, too little, too late.
We love you, Dub. We love you.
I love E-Dub. I love you. I can't wait
to
become the Ravens secondary coach or defensive coordinator. I can't wait for you to come to Baltimore. I know you work with the Ravens and Eric Acosta with doing some draft stuff. But, yeah, I got to go with the Cardinals on that one. So let's just rehash our picks real quick. Me and Ennis we all picked the Chiefs in the sweep. Me and Ennis picked the Bills while Gina picked the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Gina picked the Raiders, and I believe Ennis picked the Bengals. Me and Gina picked the Bucks over the Eagles. We both picked the 49ers, did we?
Mm-hmm.
We both picked the 49ers. Gina picked the Rams. I picked the Cardinals. So I'm just saying, if you want to win some money, you might want to take my picks. Might want to take my picks. We'll see. We'll count them all up next week, and we'll see who had the better record as far as our picks. But it's been another fun episode, Sports Freak Podcast. Like we said, it's going to get better every week. We had some technical difficulties earlier in this week, but like we said, it's going to get better every week, and I believe this is just the beginning. Anybody want to get out there and hit us up for some paid partnerships? Like I said, DraftKings, hit us up because you're going to see that our picks are legit.
Again, I just want to say this is Gina from She Talks Football.
Yep.
Definitely, you can follow me I am on the Undroppables platform, the Undroppables. So check them out, the Undroppables platform. They're on Twitter, they're on YouTube. Great content there, not NFL and huge fantasy content. So definitely check them out. You can also follow me on Twitter, She Talks Football. It is 1L. It's not a typo. It's 1L in football. And my home YouTube channel, She Talks Football. And I have my podcasts come out weekly. I'm just getting back on the horn with that, but they come out weekly and they'll be on the Undroppables and they'll be on YouTube. And you should also eventually be able to listen to them all the places where you listen to podcasts. Matt, thank you so much for asking me to be a part. I've been having a great time, dude.
You're welcome. I'm having a great time too. Also, y'all follow me on Twitter at @has_the truth. That's HAZ_DA truth, TRUTH. Follow me. I'm always in the Twitter spaces and creating spaces, and I'm always putting information out there about the Ravens and just sports in general. So I'm a good follow. So follow me on there. Make sure you're watching this on YouTube. Make sure you hit that follow, that subscribe button. Make sure that you turn your notification on. So when we do go live, you guys will be able to jump on with us. And man, hit us up. If you have any questions for us that you want us to share on the show. Sports Dreads, that's sports SPORTS Dreads DREADS. DREADZ @gmail.com. Hit us up, man. Send us some tweets or ask us some questions through the email that you want us to talk about on the show. So again, thank you again, Gina. You've been a wonderful co-host, and I appreciate you. And we're gonna continue rocking. And I hope y'all rolling. Peace.
Bye, everybody.